Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome to another Mortal Kombat video. Now today I wanted to try something a bit different, on something that I personally find quite interesting, as this does involve the new and the old timeline, and the differences and similarities we can draw between certain characters. Now today I'll be talking about Liu Kang, who really has been a staple of the series for a very long time, so I figured it'd be quite interesting here to talk about him, and how is the original timeline Liu Kang very different to the new Liu Kang. Now first off, let's talk about the similarities. For example, the origins are pretty much the exact same. They grew up in the Shaolin Monastery under the eyes of Bo Rai Cho and Raiden. The two always grew up with the mindset of actually becoming the champion of Mortal Kombat, and thus would train towards it. So in many ways, both character origins are in fact the same, which isn't much of a surprise considering that it is a timeline slash reboot of the series, but you'll start to see the differences very quickly, as you will soon start seeing changes. Now first off, let's talk about the original timeline Liu Kang a little bit more. In the first few Mortal Kombat games, Liu Kang is basically the champion of Mortal Kombat. The character doesn't really have any personality added to him and can somewhat be seen as bland. That's only because the first few Mortal Kombat games we got didn't have a proper story mode. He had the very traditional arcade style of telling you about the character through text, instead of seeing them in any form of cutscenes or any animated segments. So for a long amount of time, Liu Kang really didn't have any proper actual character development. However, despite this, his iconic look, moveset, and title put him at a caliber which many characters couldn't reach. So despite the lack of character development, Liu became a fan favorite. That is at least up to his death in the series. You see, around this time they started to establish new characters in the series, and effectively believed that they needed to kill Liu Kang to kind of make a new Liu Kang, to which some people were for and some people were against. Nonetheless, they went through with it and Liu Kang was killed off, but was somewhat quickly brought back from the dead. And I'm saying that in a very literal sense. Around this time, Dark Raiden was created and decided to resurrect the dead body of Liu Kang. So we got a zombie form of Liu Kang that pretty much just went around on a rampage killing a bunch of people, which understandably was very uncharacteristic of him, because they built up Liu Kang as this hero of justice. Now there was a somewhat side plot where Liu Kang wanted to be reunited with his body, but this was quickly pushed over to the side because of Mortal Kombat Armageddon. So Liu Kang, by the end of the original timeline, started to lose a lot of favor from his own fan base because of different design choices and ideas to just kind of progress the story. Now let's talk about the new Liu Kang, and how is he exactly different to the old one? Well, this time with the inclusion of a proper story mode, we get to see a lot more personality from Liu Kang, which is something we hadn't exactly seen before. We learned that unlike his other timeline counterpart, is that this version of Liu Kang is emotional, vulnerable, and sometimes stupid. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It in fact adds a lot of layers to the character that we've actually never seen before. We see that he's humorous, cheeky, and most importantly, human. Liu in this timeline does feel human, because compared to his other timeline counterpart, this version of Liu Kang is clearly very flawed. He is a very emotional individual, and depending on your own preference, you could see this as a flaw or something that helps make the character feel more relatable, because as much as we all love a superhero, a lot of them sometimes aren't too relatable. So I think the biggest difference between the two here is that the original timeline Liu Kang is more or less a god slash hero, whereas this version is clearly a flawed hero, one that acts on his emotions, which can clearly dictate what he does. And ultimately, because of this, it does in fact lead to Liu Kang's death in this timeline, which is way earlier than in the original, because clearly this version of Liu Kang is very brash and doesn't quite have a clear mind. Now let's talk about another big split for the two, Zombie Liu Kang and Revenant Liu Kang. Now Zombie Liu Kang was a result of the Deadly Alliance killing him, and Revenant Liu Kang was created because Raiden accidentally killed him and was resurrected by Quan Chi, which leads to the question that I do say here, which was arguably executed better? Well, Zombie Liu Kang is somewhat a reanimated corpse that was brought back from the dead by Dark Raiden to punish pretty much anyone that got in his way. He really was just a walking, groaning martial arts zombie that just kind of wandered around. Although I'm not going to deny this really cool moment he did have in Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
At last, it has come to this final.
But I think a massive flaw about the Zombie Liu Kang thing, outside of just the idea, was the fact that it was a massive change of direction for the character, and understandably not everyone would be on board with that, as it did feel really uncharacteristic, whereas the new timeline Revenant Liu Kang is very different, and I would arguably say is handled a lot better. Even before his death, we do see a lot of malice that Liu Kang has towards people, or more precisely Raiden, as he does put the Earthrealm Warriors' deaths in fact on him. So clearly this new kind of emotional Liu Kang Kang isn't one that's necessarily filled with hate, but clearly one that is dictated by his own feelings, which again does get him killed. But the most important version about this new Liu Kang is that he isn't evil for the sake of being evil. In this new timeline, he has somewhat relatable reasons to be angry at Raiden. It makes the bitterness between the two when they confront each other a lot more natural, because in his eyes he felt like he was betrayed by his mentor and friend. So his anger and disdain towards Raiden and anyone associated with him is clearly understandable. So because of this new implemented story mode, we clearly get to see a different side to Liu Kang that we haven't exactly seen before. But it does beg the question here, which Liu Kang is superior? Which one was done better? Well, that's actually something I can't really answer. At the end of the day, it all does come down to preference and which version of Liu Kang you do naturally like more. Because if I've shown off anything in this video, is that the Liu Kang we have now is very different to the Liu Kang we have back then. The original is a fearless hero who fought until the very end, whereas this one is a flawed hero, but is one that is quite relatable. Like I said, it's all down to preference at the end of the day, but there's no denying that these two different versions of the same character are great. Yes, there have been ups, yes, there have been downs, but he's most certainly made an impact on the series that only a few could contest with. And at the end of the day, these two different versions are really their own character. They may share the same origin, but in terms of personality and what's really kind of affected them, they can be seen as two separate individuals. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. I hope you do enjoy this. I'm so sorry that this had come out very late, but I was a bit of an idiot over the weekend and actually forgot to bring my microphone with me, so I couldn't work. But I guess late is better than never. Now, in saying that, I do have two other Mortal Kombat videos in the pipeline. On Thursday, I'll be talking about every single character who's dead in this new timeline, and on Sunday, I'll be doing a top 5's Mortal Kombat list talking about the 5 things I want to see return back in Mortal Kombat 11. So please do keep an eye out for that, as I'll be talking about game mechanics I want to see return, as well as characters and possibly plot lines. I haven't planned it all out just yet. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed this, and if you want to see me do more of these, let me know down in the comments below, as it has been very interesting for me to kind of compare one timeline counterpart to the other. So if you want to see more, let me know down below. Now, before this video does wrap up, guys, if possible, let's try getting it to about 500 likes, as a great way of helping out this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. So by giving it a thumbs up, it helps out a ton. And if you want to go the extra step, we also have a Patreon set up, and a link for that will be down in the description below. Anyway, guys, as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.